Hey guys, welcome back to the KoreKara Podcast. This week, me and Raza talk about alcohol and our experiences drinking alcohol and our funny stories with it. We also have a special guest, one of our patrons, Eizenga71, coming on at the end, so make sure you catch that. And if you aren't subscribed already, please subscribe to us, but hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Peace.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the KoreKara Podcast, and Happy New Year from us. So I thought we'd get 2021 started off with a fun little topic and with the help of one of our patrons. So stay tuned for that, guys. But Eric, you want to introduce the glorious topic that we're going to be going into today?
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about alcohol in Japan and experiences related to alcohol. I mean, like, alcohol is just such a big cultural part of Japan. Like, everyone knows of, like, nomikais and how much drinking there is, like, if you're working in Japan.
Yeah, nomikai. And I mean, literally, you can find it anywhere you go. Just walk outside, alcohol will be there. If not in a vending machine or in a konbini, it's there.
You're never, like, more than 50 feet away from alcohol.
Yeah, that is true, guys. Proven statistic. Go look it up.
Like, the government set out to make sure that every citizen is less than 50 feet away from alcohol.
Exactly. Yeah, we heard it from the former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
Yeah, from that podcast.
So, from that one podcast. If you guys haven't looked at that one podcast, hint, hint, it has to do with kanji eater. Go check it out. But aside from our Shinzo Abe cameos, we got some pretty interesting stuff here with alcohol. You know, we've been in Japan, we got to experience it firsthand, and that being said, there's that comes with pretty funny stories. And I mean, Eric, I know you got something pretty interesting here, and has to do with Japanese learning too, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, one part of drinking is that there's always, like, games, right? And different cultures, they play different games. Like in America, you have beer pong. And I guess, like, in Japan, it's always outside a lot of times. So there's, like, a lot of games that are, like, more just, like, word related. So, you know, there's, like, the people always quiz, like, the Yamanote-sen, like, you have that game. Like, one time I actually, like, tried, like, memorizing the whole thing. Just
you gotta be prepared
just for the rare instance that it would come up.
You're like, oh, you thought you would get me here. Nah, bruh, I got it all.
But I don't even know this game in Japanese called shiritori.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
So it's like, basically you say a word, and then the next person has to say a word that starts with the word that ended with the word that you said. Mm-hmm. And then there's, like, some rules that you can't say. You can't use the word n. Like, you can't end with the word n, because there's, like, no words that start with n. So if you say that, you just lose.
It's over.
Yeah. But I would play that with my Japanese friend. But then after a while, like, once I got better at Japanese, it just became, like, too easy. Like, and he would, like, try to, like, nerf himself. He'd be like, oh, I can only use, like, Yojizukugo, or I can only use, like, these words in this field or something to, like, nerf himself.
Right.
But later on, like, we came up with this one version of it where it's like we play shiritori in English and Japanese, like, simultaneously. Ooh. So we would come up with, like, one English word and one Japanese word, and it had the same meaning. So, for example, like home, and then the Japanese would be like, ie. So, and then we play shiritori on these two words at the same time. So the next person would have to think of, like, so the English word home ends with an e, and then ie ends with e. And you have to think of a word. You have to think of an English word and a Japanese word that have the same meaning and start with those two. So, like, in this example, it would be like, after home, it would be English, and then ie, you could say eigo. So that would be like a connection. And then you have to think of, like, okay, after English, H and go. Like, what can go after that? But
oh man, that's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. it's like super hard. We spent like 20 minutes just, like, thinking of, like, the next word. And like, sometimes we play it, like, in between classes. Like just you have to think of the answer after the whole class, and you spend like the whole class trying to think of the answer.
Right. Oh, for a second I thought this was supposed to be like a rapid fire thing. I was like, oh man, like I was like trying to go think about this right now. Like I would have lost right there. Oh, thank God that's not the case.
Well, with Shiritori, like normal Shiritori, you could do it rapid fire, right?
Right.
Is, like,
yeah.
extremely difficult. You have to perform like a brute force search, like in your own brain, of all the words. Yeah. But then, we would also play like this one game where we try to like test each other's like Japanese. Like he would test my Japanese knowledge, and I'd test his English knowledge. And because like with this friend, like I would speak in English, and then he would speak in Japanese, and we would always like understand each other like perfectly.
Right.
And even if we use like some difficult words, he'd be like, yeah, I know that. And then he uses like some difficult words, like, oh, do you know that? I'm like, yeah. And then so we play a game where he's like, he would think of a word that's like a hard English word for him. And then I would have to come up with the Japanese word for it. So he would say like, so he'd be like the word for inherit. So he would say inheritance tax. And then I would have to say like the Japanese word, which is like sozokuze. And then I would say like, oh, how about like law of diminishing returns? And then you have to say it was like shukakuteigen no hosoku. Yeah. But that was like kind of challenging, and it made me like both of us like learn a bunch of like random ass Japanese words that would only ever come up in like a textbook and are kind of useless.
But you got it for this game. So are you trying to tell me though that you went and played these games while you were drinking?
Yeah, I mean like the easier ones, like the just the word one and Shiritori, we play while drinking. But the difficult version of Shiritori is pretty much like impossible. Like even sober is like impossible. So if you're drinking, it's just like nothing's gonna happen. Yeah,
no, that's what I was thinking. I was like, yo, like let's say you drink like a beer or something, like or you drink. Oh, let's get ambitious here. You drink a strong zero, like a can of strong zero, and you're trying to play this game. I cannot imagine in any world where you come up with like an answer that makes sense. I feel like it's gonna end up being like you're gonna say a wrong answer, and like after like 5-10 minutes of silence, everyone's gonna start going crazy, like, oh, yo, you got it. And then you're like, wait, no.
But yeah, like, did you ever play any like drinking games?
No. So you see, well, I guess eventually, but actually, the first time I came to Japan, I had a little interesting thing that I did, which was not drink at all. So it was like a little funny story. So I mean, I was kind of thinking like, all right, you know what? Like, well, first of all, I wasn't like legally able to drink, you know,
in Japan.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, in Japan.
Oh right, it was like because you. Okay, yeah. Japan's like 20, right?
Yeah. So I wasn't 20 yet. I was 19. So I was like, oh man, like shit, I gotta like follow the. Although like I've quickly found that like didn't matter at all, you know. But you know what? I was like staying true to the rules. You know, I came to Japan. You know, I'll respect their laws. I'll respect the culture. Although I guess the culture is really like you drink whatever. But I decided to make it a little fun thing. So I'd still go to nomikais and I'd still go have fun with friends drinking. But I was like, hey, every time I go drink, I'm gonna get green tea and only green tea. And it became like a little bit of like a running like joke and kind of like a meme whenever we would go out like drinking, because I'm like, hey, like, yo, you already know what I want, and everyone's like, hey, get that green tea coming. And it was pretty fun. It was still a really good time, and everyone had a lot of fun. And hey, I mean, shout out green tea. Green tea, one of my favorite drinks by far. Maybe a little bit not so much after that period of time where I was spamming green tea, but it's back on top again where it belongs.
I guess next time you could have those highs, like the
udon
high, like ryokcha high.
Yeah, no, those are really good. See, like when I came back to Japan after that, see that was like I was going a lot with that. That was some good stuff. I really liked udon highs. That's actually one of my favorites. And lemon sours too. Those are good. Those are good. Like you don't like lemon sours. Those are kind of not on the same level as strong zero, of course, but they taste good and you can drink a lot of those. But yeah, nothing gets back to the green teas, man. I mean, I should have like went to a nomikai like right at the end, right at the end, ordered like an udon, ordered one, and just like been like, oh no, this is green tea, guys, this is green. Or maybe I was doing that all along and I just didn't tell anyone, and that's how I was having a good time. Maybe I won't go confirm nor deny that, but we can keep it at that. We can keep it at that. But it was like really fun though. I would say just having the whole nomikai experience while I was in Japan, because it wasn't like I was avoiding it. It was like great, kind of like you go in, you like squat up with like literally like any of your friends. It could be, like I'm sure you've had that experience where like your friends are like, oh, let's go out like drinking, right?
Yeah.
And you just go have fun. You go to like a bar, or an izakaya, and just have like good time. You usually get some pretty good food there too, actually, the izakayas. Oh man.
And I also I like how like, since it's like if you're in Tokyo and everything's like really close proximity, you can also hit up like other friends throughout the night who might be out as well, and it's like really easy to meet up.
True. It's actually so nice. You just hit everyone up. They're like, oh, I'm free at this time. They're like, I'm still drinking. Come through.
Yeah. Like one time I was like going out. There was like a hiking event at the school, and then after that, like I think 4 of us or 5 of us wanted to go drinking. And it was like like my Japanese friend, another Japanese person, and then his girlfriend. And then we were taking a train to go like Shinjuku or something. And then randomly, like, I ran into my girlfriend at the time, who was just taking the same train in the same car, in like the same box.
Oh, like by like coincidence?
Yeah, by coincidence.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then we just all like went out and drank, and it was like super fun.
So this can go as far as just seeing random people that you know on the train.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Looks like when you go to Japan, just go get a wide base of people and just go on the train. You're gonna find them, and then you're gonna go out drinking right after. Oh man, boy, that's hilarious, dude. I've run into people for sure randomly on the train, but it's never led to going drinking right after.
Yeah, it was like awkward because like when I saw her, she's like, "You didn't respond to my text." And because like I had like some problem with like the data, so like, I couldn't like use my phone.
That's what you told her, right? Hey man, it's all good. You just go out drinking right after. It solves every problem. Hey, drinks on me.
Yeah, it's like I just wanted to respond in real life.
Oh, true. Facts. Be careful when you say that, though, guys. It can be very creepy, and you could people get the wrong idea. You come on the train, you're like, "Oh, I meant to see you in real life." I'm like,
"Who the hell are you?"
Oh, dude, yeah, dude. I mean, that would be like real. I mean, I feel like if you're like not in Japan, people like randomly like just talk to you here and there on like public transport and say random things. Have you ever had that experience before?
Wait, in Japan?
No, outside of Japan.
Yeah, but it's like kind of scary. Like in America.
No, right. It's kind of scary. Yeah, dude. Like it's not like if it was Japan, it's just gonna be Eric walking up to his girlfriend.
Yeah, one time in America, like this guy came up to me. He looked like he was like homeless or something, but he was like, "Hey, you want to see a magic trick?" And then I was like, "Nah, not really."
Oh man, when you say that, it just reminds me of like the Joker.
Oh yeah, I just thought of that.
Yeah, I don't want to see any magic tricks. I ain't trying to be the guy that sees it. Oh man. Yeah, dude, that's like for sure the first thing that pops up whenever I hear that line. Oh god. Shout out Dark Knight. But yeah, you're not gonna find that in Japan. Don't worry. Oh god. The Dark Knight. Anyways, like, I mean, have you had any like stories where you're like out at night and like stuff just randomly kind of happens with people being drunk?
I guess like there was like one time where I was like taking the train.
Right.
It was like pretty late, and I think I talked about this in like the Dorian episode. I might have.
Yeah.
But like this like salaryman just like sat next to me and just started talking to me because I was like reading the Steve Jobs biography, and it was like super thick.
Oh.
Because I went to like a book off and had an English section, and then the Steve Jobs biography was like 100 yen or something. So I'm like, I have to buy this. And then I was like reading that, and he was just asking me like, "Oh, why are you reading such a thick book?" Because he assumed I was Japanese. And then after I said, "Oh, actually, I'm not from Japan," he started like trying to speak to me in English, but it was like incomprehensible the whole time. It was just like English like sounds, like, and then I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and I'm like telling him that in Japanese, and he just like continued like just saying all these like English sounds until he like got off the train. And then he got off and he got back on. He's like, "Oh, wrong stop." And then he like continued to talk to me.
Oh, this guy is trolling himself, man. He reminded me of like what those like Animal Crossing characters sound like. So the man just just cosplayed as a Animal Crossing.
He might have learned English from there.
That's true. He went and like, it's like, you know, you can change the language of the game and like the settings, right? Yeah. He set it to the English mode, and he was looking at it, and
like shadowing it.
He didn't pick up like the words itself. He picked up like the audio that was coming out. He's like, I've mastered the language of English. And foreigners probably trying to be nice, like, I've done it. I've mastered English. This is it. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know what would happen if someone came up to me and had a conversation like that. That'd be awkward.
But yeah, like, have you had any experiences like that?
Yeah, like I wouldn't say I had any experiences like quite like that, but I had like, I guess you can call it like a remote experience. So I was pretty much like chilling. I was getting some work done, so I was like basically like at my desk, right? And I was just doing stuff, and then I had this one of my Japanese friends. She was pretty much at a bar, and with some of her friends, and she's just going. Or I mean, I didn't even know she was at a bar, to be honest. And all of a sudden, I get like a call online. So I'm like, okay, hey, like, how's it going? Like, what's going on? And she's like clearly wasted, like very clearly. Like, you could smell like the alcohol through the phone. Like it was pretty bad, but like it was with a bunch of friends or whatever, but like out of nowhere, and like her, like, she could barely talk at this point too, so like in her broken like Japanese, she's telling me about how like how she met a foreigner. Is like, oh no way, like I met a foreigner here, like here, talk to him, he's pretty cool. So I'm just like a little confused. I'm like, all right, like, okay, for sure. And I'm like, hey, and then all of a sudden it's like this guy talking to me, and he's just like asked me like, hey, like, how are you, like, can you speak English and Japanese? They told me you're a foreigner. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm from America, like, how's it going, like, what's up? And I'm just like kind of like, I'm like, what is even happening, man? Like there's like everyone, like, this guy is also very clearly drunk. Like he spoke those words. There's a lot of slurs in there. I don't even like.
Is he a foreigner?
So he was a foreigner. So this guy actually starts telling me like, hey man, like I'm from Hawaii. I'm actually like a millionaire. And that was like the first sentence. I'm like, all right, cool, like nice, dude. And he's like, yeah, man, like I own like a surf shop in Hawaii, and it's like super cool there, man. Like you gotta come over sometime. Like I'll go take you surfing. It'll be really cool. And I'm like, hey, dude, like for sure. I'll swing by sometime. I'll go to your surf shop, man. But yeah, I didn't know who this guy was, and he like it wasn't even a short call either. He actually kept reiterating that same thing for like 30 or 40 minutes. And it was like weird because like I don't know. It was like he never gave me an opportunity to be like, oh yo, like nice, like I gotta go right now, you know. I don't want to be disrespectful either. It's like a nice stranger who is currently in Japan. But yeah, I don't know. It was like it was an interesting experience though, you know. It's not every day you go and talk to a bunch of drunk people in a bar in Japan from your phone. So yeah. It was also, I think it was a video chat too. It was, oh damn, it was interesting. Yeah, I'm like, hey, like, the call got really laggy too. But that's besides the point. That's besides the point. Hey man, as they say, socializing in Japan with alcohol, man. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, I remember I had this one experience of like talking to like this random foreigner too. Like one time, me and my Japanese friend and this other friend, we wanted to go drinking, and we were in Yokohama. But then for some reason we couldn't find any bars. Like we always used to go to Hub, the foreigner bar, but then we couldn't find any, and it was like really far or something. So we just decided like since we're next to a like Don Quixote, we're just gonna go there, buy drinks, and then just drink like outside. So we did that, and we found like this electrical booth on the street that was like a table, and it was like the same height as a table if you went to Hub, like a standing table. And so we were just like standing there with all our drinks and just like drinking there. And then after a while we were just like, we try to like meet other foreigners. So if like a foreigner walked by us, I was just like, yo, what's up, man? And then like sometimes they'll just be like, what's up? And then sometimes they'll actually stop and they'll like talk to us. And I remember I talked to this one guy for quite a bit. He was like a engineer and has been living in Japan for like 3 years.
Oh wow.
And he just passed N1.
Oh, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you're out here basically interviewing the language learning community in Japan while getting wasted in front of a Don Quixote.
Yeah. Maybe we can get him on the podcast.
You'll find him, get him on here, to talk to him not about his life working as an engineer, but how he got N1 and how he ended up over there that fateful day or night, I should say. Oh man, yeah, dude, Don Quixote the classic, man. Oh, what were you drinking, man? What was the specialty that night?
Strong zeros, and it was disgusting.
You had to let them know that you were gaijin. You gotta go. They see it, they're like, oh hi. They just like come to you naturally, like, hey, can I get a sip, man? The gaijin killer back at it again. Oh man, dude, yeah, that is pretty interesting though. Did he give you any secrets on how to pass the N1 for our listeners over here?
Actually, I remember like
secrets.
After he said that, my Japanese friend like tried to quiz to see whose Japanese is better, like me or his. And then he would point to like random signs on the street and be like, "Can you read that?" And then I remember he pointed to like the Don Quixote sign, and there's like a word like Kiyoyasu, and then he's like, "Can you read that?" And the reason I even know how to read that is because like I looked it up before. And it's like not even a real word. Like the word that Don Quixote uses to mean like super cheap. Like they made up, they just put like two kanji together and has like that reading. Yeah.
Right. So basically, you wrecked him.
Yeah,
and
he didn't know how to read it.
Japanese is superior.
Yeah.
When you started off with that, I thought he was gonna say like the how to like read Don Quixote, and I was like, well, wait a minute, like say the bar low real quick. I was thinking you're gonna say that he didn't know how to do that. I was like, man, how did this guy pass the N1?
Hey, there's not a lot of katakana on the N1 test.
Yeah. Oh, that's why he only studied kanji.
Yeah.
No katakana allowed. Oh man, that would be hilarious, dude. Oh, dude. Yeah, dude. I feel like I mean, Japan just in general is really interesting with their alcohol culture. Like we were saying in the beginning, like you're always like 50 feet with it. Like there's always gonna be alcohol in a range. It doesn't matter where you are. There's like, even if you're in a remote space, as long as you got vending machines, there's gonna be alcohol for sure. Like, and it's interesting. Like in like America, for example, if you are drinking outside, you're gonna it's against the law. Don't do that. Like
you need like a brown paper bag.
The brown, the classic. Dude, if I like whenever I see anyone with the brown paper bag outside and kind of like holding on to it, it's a little late at night. Like, I just don't. It's always kind of just get sketch, you know.
It's like almost more conspicuous than just drinking from a can.
Actually, though. Like at that point you better like use a water bottle and fill that up, like.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, dude. But in Japan, I mean, drink wherever you want. Doesn't matter.
Except Disneyland.
Except Disneyland, you're right. Except for Disneyland.
But Disney Sea though. You can drink.
Disney Sea. Remember Disney Sea, guys.
Yeah. Don't get it messed up.
Yeah, otherwise you're gonna get messed up. but remember though, Disney Sea, if you're trying to drink over there, you gotta pay for extremely overpriced Disney alcohol, unless you're able to sneak it through the security, which isn't too I mean, well, you guys can find out for yourself.
We do not endorse.
We don't endorse any of that, guys. Don't go into Disney Sea with your own alcohol. You can buy your own alcohol inside Disney Sea. That's what we're gonna be saying. That's us right there. Anyways, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be interesting, and we also have our special guest, our patron Eizenga71 coming on, and this guy, let me tell you, he is he's an alcohol connoisseur for Japanese drinks.
I thought you were gonna say he's an alcoholic.
We welcome Eizenga71, the alcoholic.
He's like slurring all his words.
It's like we were just like, oh yeah, we just found him off the street. Like, hey, you want to be on the podcast? Sure, man. Nah, but yeah, he's not an alcoholic. He's just a connoisseur. He knows his stuff. He goes.
There's a fine line.
There's a fine line. There is a fine line.
Thin line.
See, yeah. But he has not crossed that line. He goes out and he drinks however much he needs to on not on a regular basis, here and there on special nights out, and he knows what he's doing. You know, you gotta respect it. Like sometimes out there, dude, imagine there's like people out there like having like sports commentary type of thing for like a strong zero is like, next up to the plate in our drinking game is Strong Zero. Now, Strong Zero, it's known to be quite a hard drink for foreigners because you never expect how much it hits you once you are maybe a couple cans in. But, you know, it's a respectable contender for tonight's challenge, but we'll see how the rest goes. Like, that would be interesting. You see like an ESPN top 10 on Japanese drinks. I mean, Eizenga's probably going to do that for us. Let's be real. He's got us covered. But I'm excited to hear his thoughts. When he comes in here.
Yeah, let's bring him on.
Alright guys, and continuing to go on to our alcohol adventures here, we got one of our top patrons, Eizenga71, the man, the myth, the legend, out here joining us, and we're gonna go through a little, not so much rapid fire, but we're gonna just go through some questions here, find out the truth of alcohol in Japan through this one sample size of one over here. So hope you guys are in for a fun little surprise.
Yeah, he's our new resident Japanese expert. Raza has been demoted.
So sad. Alright guys, we got Eizenga and Eric, and then me on the bottom, but don't even worry. We got Eric, our alcohol expert, in here too, so we'll be just fine.
Alright, so Eizenga, let's start with what's your favorite drink to have in Japan?
Oh, that's hard, man. I'm gonna go with the lemon sours. Very popular here.
Lemon sour. Okay, Eizenga. Okay. Starting off a little okay here. I mean, we talked about lemon sours here, but okay, we gotta go and talk about the big elephant in the room, you know. We gotta talk about Strong Zero, the gaijin killer itself, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You know, sometimes...
Yeah, go for it.
Sometimes when people come over and they have the Strong Zeros, they don't know what they're getting themselves into, right? They down one and they're like, oh, I don't feel anything. And then 30 minutes later, you know, they're third one deep, and then... it hits them.
Yeah, it's actually one of the top murder suspects in the country. Not many of those happen, but Strong Zero is right up there. Oh man, do you have a specific story where someone just got destroyed by a Strong Zero? Like you said, took 3 of them and they're just gone.
Specifically, I don't. A lot of my buddies actually stay away from Strong Zero because they know the effects. But if you ever been to Shibuya, you can see a lot of intoxicated people there. They don't hold their alcohol very well. That's where the very famous Shibuya Meltdown Instagram account. Do you guys know about that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's why they banned alcohol at the Halloween parties now, because they flipped a truck probably after Strong Zeros.
Yeah.
I wonder how many Strong Zeros it took to flip that truck. Like, it gave them some superpowers out here.
I'm gonna say 1.5.
1.5. Oh, dude. Yeah, guys, any of you listening who haven't tried a Strong Zero, probably don't. Maybe take a little sip and call it a day. Probably be enough to take you guys for a good time. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, Strong Zero, very, very potent drink over there in Japan. Guys, be careful. But
don't they have different levels? There's isn't there a 9% one and maybe a 12% one?
Oh yeah, that's right.
From what I remember, the strongest ones that you usually buy in the stores, like all the sours, the strongs, the the highballs and stuff, the strongest is usually sitting around 9%. I know recently this shop in Nakameguro, they came out with a new drink, and it's kind of funny because it's always next to the strongs, and it's lemon sour squad. You know it right away. You see this bright yellow can sitting next to the strongs. You're like, what is this? Freaking just as tall as the strongs. 9% ready to go.
Have you tried it before?
Recently it's the only one that I've been drinking, actually. Okay. Like when I play games or something.
Okay, Eizenga. All right, well, what do you rate it over here then? What's the rating?
Oh, let's see. Out of 5?
Out of 5.
I'll give it a good 4 out of 5. It's got good flavor. It gets you where you want to get.
It gets you right in the zone for gaming. You know it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, conversely, what would you give a Strong Zero, just out of curiosity?
Oh man, Strong Zero, it's kind of you got to get the right flavor. Some of those it's just alcohol. It says strong cola, and then you're drinking it and you're like, where's the cola? Yeah. How about you guys? What is your guys' favorite when you were over here?
Oh, I used to drink udon hai, which is like, I mean, it's just oolong tea with alcohol, but then a lot of times you can't even taste the alcohol, so it tastes pretty good. Yeah.
That's dangerous.
That's true.
I feel like most of what I had in Japan, like outside of like beers, right? I feel like you can't even tell there's alcohol in it. Like it just tastes good, and you don't even realize. Yeah.
Yeah, they have these like 3% ones in the konbinis that are like fruit flavored, and you just can't taste any alcohol. I mean, you can barely feel any alcohol.
Yeah, horoi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those. My favorite was the peach. I used to drink the peach one like on the daily, and then I'm like 3 cans in, and you're like, oh, whoa, gotta slow down here. These are
They're catching up.
It's not just juice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I drink them like juice.
I'm so glad we got to have you on. You're an actual alcohol expert. Already dethroned Eric within a couple minutes here.
Hey, there's strong zero and horoi in Taiwanese konbinis too.
Oh.
Eric, you've been grinding those? Is that what's been happening?
grinding one right now.
Oh, you're not supposed to actually say that, Eric.
Well, they got to keep the Japanese people who are staying over there happy, right?
True.
It's true.
They do have to keep them happy. Have every assortment. So I guess like speaking towards drinking and maybe even drinking culture, one of the big aspects here in Japan is nomi hodais. So I'm sure you've been to at least one drinking party here. I mean, you're quite the connoisseur out here in Japanese konbini alcohol. So I want to see how many nomi hodais have you been to, man?
Not as many as other people, since obviously my company doesn't do like drinking parties.
Right.
So given that it's kind of like a company for foreigners, we don't really do a lot of setting up for these parties and people come and do nomi hodai and stuff like that. But I've been to a couple, and you can see where you pay like 2,000 yen and then people just go too crazy. You're like, guys, slow down. It's all you can drink for a reason.
Oh man, it's like right there, ready for people to go insane. And then miss the trains. And
oh
man.
Tell me about that. I missed my train last night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What happened, man?
Just I was hanging out in Ikebukuro last night, and just happened to check my watch, and I was like, oh, it's 1 a.m. I missed the last train.
By an hour.
By
an hour.
Yeah. By an hour, yes. Actually, they reduced the hours of the last train, so a lot of people have been missing the trains more recently.
Oh wow! So what's your go-to whenever you do miss the last train?
Well, I got 2 legs, so I do that.
Run home.
Yeah, man. So a lot of people they will stay at a cafe that's 24 hours, or you got your infamous famiresu with people sleeping in the booths. You got the karaoke boxes, and then if you're really desperate, you can stay at a love hotel.
Right.
Alone,
sad.
I remember
with your strong zero.
My teacher at the time told us like you have 4 options if you miss the last train, and that's like you can stay at a cafe or karaoke. You go to a hotel. You can take a cab, which is like really expensive, or you can just keep drinking until the first.
Yeah, man. The last one, that I see that quite often, especially in Shinjuku.
How far did you stay with them?
I mean, the latest is just like it's 3, and I'm just all right, guys. I'm done drinking. I'm gonna just walk home.
You come back the next day, they're still there.
When I was in Ikebukuro last night, one of the strangest things that I saw was You guys know Donkey, right?
Yeah.
So I was outside of a Donkey, and I was just like, "Oh, there's a heater here, so I'm gonna stand and let the, heat help me out here. It's too windy." And these young guys just come out of like the shop. This guy is holding some like pants in front of him. I'm just like, wait, what is he doing? He slams the pants on the floor.
Wait, like pants like
and
pants?
then pants as in like jeans. Jeans.
Calm down.
Yeah, so he slams his jeans on the floor, and then this other guy's like, I guess taking a video or something. He's looking at the jeans. He's like, oh, and then he looks at his new pants. Apparently, he went into Donkey, bought some new pair of pants. I don't know if he soiled himself or like he ripped those pants, but. And then they started playing volleyball with his pants. Like they just bunched it up and they started playing volleyball.
Wow. I watched a lot of Haikyuu, I guess. It's probably what they were drinking to in the bar. I don't know where you get that idea from. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Hey, any crazy stuff that you guys seen around town?
I always see like salary men, and then they're always like kind of wild. Like I feel like I've seen this more than once where like they take off their tie and then they tie it around their head. I don't know why that's like a thing.
That's like their go-to. Like it's kind of like they're in like their sign to show other people, look, I'm past drunk.
Little marker on the road. Everyone can tell, like, all right, so avoid these guys. Although, to be honest, they make it a little hard to do that, especially when they're stumbling and they're going like side to side across the entire walkway.
Yeah. Or like when they're being carried by like two of their mates, like oh yeah, we'll take you to the station. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen
they
it.
They like
where...
walk them to the station, and then they just leave them like at the gate. They're like, all right, guys, I'll see you next time.
You got it from here on out. I believe in you. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, like, going towards that, I had a pretty funny story when I was just walking back home at night. I used the two-leg strategy, as you like to call it. Big fan of that one. But I was just going down the street, and there's a couple guys holding up their drunk friend, but the problem here was that the two friends that were holding up the drunk friends were also really drunk. So instead of it being kind of like a stable, like, oh, we got you, they're doing like a little dance. They're swaying from side to side as three people together. They're just like going down, like back and forth, until right at the end they just stumble and they just hit the wall and they all fall down. And at least until I walked by, they were just collapsed on there for a while. I'm pretty sure they got back up and made their way back home. But yeah, drinking is wild in Japan. People have no limits, or I mean, they have limits and they pass them real quick. All right, Eizenga. Here's the big question, though, the one that all the KoreKara listeners have been waiting for, man. What is your top drinking story in Japan?
I guess one of the craziest stories is I was drinking in Osaka.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's the foreigner-friendly bars known as the Hub.
Mm-hmm. Classic.
Yeah. So I was drinking out there. I ended up going on this trip by myself. So I was at the Hub drinking, and then some guys just come up to me and they start talking and they want to practice their English. And so we're trying to talk, and I'm just like, yeah. I'm from Shinjuku. I teach English. And he's like, oh, Shinjuku, nice. I can English. Oh, yeah. Definitely. So he walks me over to a table, and he's like, "Oh, let's sit here." But as you guys are aware, if you leave something on the table, this means this table is now claimed.
Right.
Yeah, and there's some sunglasses on the table, so my mind's like, we can't sit here. But I'm trusting this guy. He's Japanese, so I'm gonna sit with him. So we sit with him, and I sit with him, and then about like 2 minutes later, this guy comes in with two girls, like, hanging off of him. And he says, hey, something Japanese. And then the other guy looks at me and says, oh, this is his table. He's Yakuza. Let's go.
Oh, man. It's like a near-death story right there, man. That could have gone one of many ways right after.
Well, he gave me the death stare until I literally walked back to the bar. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't come back here.
Oh, man. Yakuza at the foreigner-friendly bar. That is honestly kind of a scary surprise to run into, if I want to be totally honest. Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, you never know who they are until, like, basically you see their tattoos, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, so were his tattoos, like, just out there for everyone to see?
No. That's why I didn't know until the guy was, like, telling me.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But when you walk in, sunglasses and all, two girls around you, gold necklace, you kind of know.
Yeah, it's kind of the vibe.
Yeah.
Either a host or a Yakuza.
Yeah. Most of the time they leave you alone, though. Like, if you see them somewhere out, for example, like if you're at a sento or a public bathhouse, and you see them, they look at you, and then they keep their distance, you keep your distance,
Right. So you've had, like, multiple run-ins with the Yakuza over here, then.
I mean, I just go to public bathhouses, and, that's where they go.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, I feel like in all my run-ins with public bathhouses, like, I've never seen a Yakuza. I don't think I've ever seen a Yakuza anywhere, really. I've only heard the stories. Oh, man.
Oh, really? I mean, even if you go, like, Kabukicho, sometimes you know.
Yeah, I mean, at least the times I went around there, it was, like, really mainly, I guess, tourist infested, I would say. I didn't really see any very clear Yakuza. Maybe it was just the day, who knows, but probably walked by one. But I didn't know it, even if I did. Oh, man. Yeah.
Eric, how about you?
I think when I visited Osaka, I saw a decent amount. Because I also went to, like, this neighborhood that was, like, really sketch, and I could see them, like, they were patrolling the neighborhood, like, in their cars. That was kind of scary.
Well, what kind of neighborhood did you go to?
It was like I just went to visit the red light district of Osaka.
Eric doing naughty stuff. All right.
For Kanko, for tourism, purely.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was imagining you were just walking down and you just, like, stumbled across the wrong street, which is kind of hard to
just
do.
stumbled into the red light district. And then just stumbled out.
How many mama-sans did you have calling you?
Quite a few.
They probably saw you, Eric. You're like, oh, number one. Come.
Oh, man.
Actually, like, the red light district in Osaka is, like, really special, right? Like,
yeah,
they have, like, what's called the mama-sans, and they're, like, all out for display, unlike Kabukicho.
Well, Kabukicho is a special case because you got, like, the foreigner-friendly places, and then you got the not-so-foreigner-friendly places. So the ones that are kind of out for display or they have their signage outside, it's like, okay, they have some English, so foreigners know that they can come in. Other places, if you stumble into that place, they're going to tell you to get out.
Oh, man. Very scary stuff out here, man. Told by the Yakuza, you're told to get out. It's just the meanest thing I've ever heard in Japan, man. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen too... I mean, I know Eric has had some run-ins over there. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, guys, don't worry. Eric's just a traveler. He's just been in this random spot this one time. Man, but Osaka, oh man. I feel like completely different beast from Tokyo. At least I've heard stories that in Osaka and Kansai, you have a bigger presence of the Yakuza, at least like outwardly. Would you say that's true?
I mean, I guess to an extent that could be true, only because they have one of the biggest red light districts. You would say that maybe there's some origin to that. I haven't really read up on it or anything, but recently there was some news around Halloween time.
Right.
Basically, in the past, Yakuza members would give out candy to young kids.
Really?
Yeah, they would give out candy to young kids to basically kind of indoctrinate them to know that Yakuza are friendly people. You should work with us in the future, or something silly like that. This is just something that I read. Anyways, this year they decided that Hyogo Prefecture decided that they are banning, if you are a Yakuza member, you cannot give candy to young kids.
You'd have thought that they would have put that into action a lot longer ago.
Oh. Yeah, you would think.
You would think. You're like, hey, PSA to all Yakuza members, just don't do that. Oh man. Yeah, dude, I mean, when you first said the thing about the candy, I was thinking it was gonna go a completely different direction.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I guess at the end of the day, Japan is still Japan. Even when you're getting into the bad stuff, you still get actual candy.
Like I said, man, they usually they let you be. They're not so bad surface level. They're obviously still Japanese people, so
yeah.
They treat you like you want to be treated. But if you mess with them, then they're probably gonna mess with you. Or if you don't pay for your hostess bill, then they'll get after you.
Oh. I've heard stories that if anything, it's not usually physical. They extort you and really screw you over that way.
Yeah, definitely. So one example is one of my buddies. He was out drinking, met some Japanese guy. I think this was in Shinjuku.
Okay.
Maybe Golden Guy. And they're out drinking, and then this guy approaches them and he says, "Hey, come to my bar. Come to my bar." Red flag. If a guy in Kabukicho tells you to come to his bar, do not follow that guy. They usually take you to their bar, quote unquote, and when you're finished and you see your bill, now you owe $400 to $500. And if you don't pay that money, they won't let you out of their shop, or they'll get their money some other way.
Oh man. Oh, what a trap.
Damn.
What a trap.
Exactly, yeah. So my buddy ended up having to pay the $400 because he didn't want any altercations with these guys.
Yeah.
And basically, another thing that they do is they beat you up to get the money, but they understand that they don't want to get in trouble, so they drop you off in front of a hospital.
We'll be like, oh, we're gonna be nice about it still. We're gonna mess you up a little, but hey, here's the hospital. Don't even worry about it. So would you say this happens to foreigners too? Then potentially.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, this is all anecdotally speaking, but
Right.
that happened to my buddy, and then another buddy also got extorted for some money because he followed a girl, and the girl took him to another bar. So it's always you have to be careful with random people, and if they're asking you to come someplace.
Right. Alright guys, whenever you're in Japan at night in the red light district, don't follow anyone. Moral of the story. If you're gonna go into their bar, go in through with your own volition and be like, I came here because I wanted to. And then yeah, imagine you just go into their bar on purpose and you just get yourself extorted, but you're like, nah, I was here for that anyways. Take it. Oh,
then you're on a different level.
Completely. That's some 5D chess. Some 5D chess where you're playing against yourself right there. to lose.
I mean, you also have to take into account, like, there's many different types of bars, right?
Right.
So you got your regular drinking bar. You got your foreigner bars where it's always like, for some reason, they're always showing soccer or rugby at some point. And you got your snack bars. You got your the girls bars. Well, I forget how it's called, Kabakura or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you got your hostess bars. Yeah.
Man, you got all the different classifications. I remember, like, I like distinctly remember when I would take the bus home, like sometimes here and there, whenever I did take the bus, there was always this like girls bar just chilling there, like in a big, like, I guess it wasn't like super big, but it's very clear to see that it just says girls bar, and it was like so out of place. Like, you just see a bunch of normal restaurants and then girls bar. I remember in the beginning I didn't know what that meant. I think I was with a friend one time, we're like, the hell's a girls bar? One Google search later, we're like, why is that here?
Was it near a station?
I wouldn't say it was near the station, because this was like coming from the station to get to like the area to my place, and I was living a little further out, so it was, I wouldn't say it was close to the train station, but maybe like a 10-15 minute walk away from the train station. So
I see.
Yeah,
it's probably for the tired salarymen who are walking home and they see it and they're like, oh, well, I'll stop 1 hour here before I get home.
Probably. I mean, it was next to a hotel, so this probably makes sense. They're on over there for business. That's the business.
Quote unquote business, right?
Quote unquote business. Oh man. I mean, a lot of business does revolve around drinking. Oh man, I mean, speaking of which, have you ever heard of like the whole drinking culture? At least when everyone's Japanese, you have to go make sure you go and do your cheers underneath the cup of your superiors, and all that. You have to go pour out for them. You got to do it all, and you're just kind of a lackey in the whole process of having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, it falls back on the whole, like, honor system, kind of Kegel as well, like some people will say. It's strange, because some of my students that I talk to, they always complain about this, like, oh, we need to change this drinking culture. Like, oh, I don't really like that. I have to always pour for my boss, or my boss was angry because his cup was half empty and I didn't fill it up, or something like that.
I just thought, like, imagine like some guy getting mad, like, you didn't fill the rest of my cup, and it's like a scene, and like there's like a bunch of families around and everything. Although that would never happen. It's gonna be a bunch of employees all in their little room over there. Oh man, that's some J-drama stuff right there, Raza. Yeah, man. Cast me right now, Japan. I'll be your number one actor. Don't even worry about it.
But I mean, of course, you also still have some people who really love this culture, because for them, since they work so much, they never go out to meet other people. So instead, they focus on this idea of nomication, drinking communication, to get to know each other better.
Wow, that's actually the first time I heard that word. It's actually so perfect.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I've actually never heard that before.
Yeah, they're always talking about it, like, oh, so nomication. I said, okay, you want to go drinking and get to know me. I understand. Great.
Say less. Oh, man. Yeah. Too bad it's a little difficult right now. But
yeah, man, like recently, like before, like this was closer to summertime, they would actually kind of shun izakaya for opening really late. And then I know Yuriko Koike here in Japan kind of like instated like some time limits, so like izakayas couldn't stay open for a specific amount of time or past a specific amount of time. And then I think most recently in September, I went to an izakaya in a long time, and they have like these floating plastic sheets between you and your friends and the waiters.
Wow, they're going all out to keep the business going.
Yeah, which I don't understand, because it's like, okay, you got these floating plastic sheets, yet like you're bringing us stuff. And people are not wearing masks, and people are smoking, and the windows are closed, and it's just like, is this really working?
It's one of those. I remember. I think Eric told me about this, but there is like a news show in Japan, and they're like explaining why in Japan people aren't gonna
that was like at the start of COVID, where they had like
at the start of
they had like the
tissue paper.
This is a pen.
Yeah.
I think everyone's seen that by now.
Yeah, man. I saw on Japanese Twitter, everyone was like, are they serious? What are they trying to prove? What's the point of this?
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those like pointless things where like if you look at it from like a 1 IQ perspective, like face like surface level, maybe it does something, and then you check everything around and you're like, okay, come on, man, like this shouldn't be happening. Like you said, you take one look around the place and it's all like, all right, is this really helping anything at all?
I mean, we could say that there's some of these, precautions do work. For example, like the taking your temperature at every single entrance of like department stores, or like every single place has like alcohol to clean your hands. And I mean, everyone wears masks here, so I guess we're pretty safe, as opposed to like US where, this is a muzzle.
Oh man, yeah, for real. I mean, it's always great that like Japan has already had kind of the whole mask culture already adopted and being clean, and it's always great to see that that's taking effect. Although I feel like the government also doesn't want to go and shut down anything for like economy purposes too, which makes it a little bit difficult here and there too, right?
Yeah. I mean, technically speaking, if you wanted to get political, the government actually has no power to shut down anything, and everything. They make jokes on Twitter also where basically everyone is saying, please, it's very Japanese, like, please don't go out, or please close your store earlier, because they actually have no power. And the way that the government is set up is they don't want to lose face by telling their people to do certain things.
Right. Oh man,
yeah.
That's the most Japanese thing I've ever heard. Real big, but I guess we can close this back onto alcohol.
Yes.
The main topic of today's event over here. we got into the good stuff. We got into Yakuza here. Hope you guys had a good time learning a little bit more. But I mean, we got our number one connoisseur here of Japanese alcohol and beverages, Eizenga, the man himself. So I guess right here, if you're gonna recommend a drink to a foreigner coming into Japan for the first time, what is it gonna be right out of the konbini?
Right out of the konbini, foreigner. I think I'm gonna go with my lemon sour squad, followed closely behind by your strong zero, for those drinking pleasures.
For those drinking pleasures. Gotta experience it out here. Gotta experience it. I'm really glad to have you on here, because I've never heard such a detailed explanation on on each of these drinks. You're like going down like the stats. You're like, all right, so this is the name of it. This is exactly what it does, and you guys should have it if you want to do X, Y, or Z. Oh man, yeah. I mean, excited to once finally travel's all back, can go try out the lemon sour squad.
Yeah, man. Hopefully you guys come out here. We'll have some nomication going on.
Hell yeah. Nomication. Word of the day. Oh man, if we had a merch store discount code Nomication. Oh man. Alright. This was a great segment. Happy to have you on, Eizenga. It was a fun time, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I mean, it's I guess customary is now you get to have the opportunity to give a message to the KoreKara listeners, man.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. My message would be stay safe, guys. Wash your hands.
Nice. You heard the man.
Yo, thanks for making it to the end of the podcast. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers right now, so if you aren't subscribed and you're here, please subscribe to us. It would really help us out a lot. But hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Leave a comment and let us know who else you would like to see on the podcast or what you would want us to talk about. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks. Peace.